I think we're having some technical difficulties. Okay, yes, good now, thank you. The first time I saw this image, I was actually sitting in my apartment in New York, and at a first glance, I wasn't entirely sure what I was looking at. It wasn't until I read the caption below that I realized this was a picture of a 5-year-old Syrian boy named Alan Kurdi. When I saw this picture, I was overwhelmed with emotion, especially since this was one of the first times the refugee crisis was given attention in the US. It was at this moment, with this picture, that I became attached to the crisis itself. But this picture got me wondering about what else wasn't being shown, as I found hundreds of other photos alongside videos, articles, and documentaries, all showing what it is actually like to live as a refugee, something I had never seen before. And after all of this exposure, I felt helpless, living thousands of miles away from the issue and wanting so badly to offer some form of assistance, but not even knowing what I could do. How do you process a picture like this? How could you see this and just move on? Above all, I was angry. I was angry because nothing was being done, because this photo would be displayed and then the media would just switch to something so insignificant, as if this child was not dead, as if people weren't dying by the thousands across the Atlantic. But what separates me from everyone else is the fact that I saw this picture and wanted to do everything in my power to make sure a picture like this never has to be taken again. I used to think that the charities had it covered, and donating money was all that I could do to help. But when you just blindly donate, you don't see the effects of your input, and that wasn't enough for me. I wanted to do more. But here was the problem. I didn't go to school for political science or human rights or humanitarian action. I went to fashion school, Parsons School of Design in New York. So I felt incredibly responsible for my job choice and my lack of action thus far. And I looked within my industry to see if anyone was doing anything about this issue, and I found no one. The fashion industry is not known for its ethics, and if no one was going to do anything about this problem, then I was. I was 3 weeks into my final year at Parsons when I approached my professors and told them that I was changing my thesis from couture to designing solutions for refugees. All I knew is that I wanted to help, and I had no idea what it would turn out to be. It was a dramatic change from what I was used to, but I could no longer just sit by doing nothing while these tragedies were going on. If I was going to stay in the fashion industry, I had to find a way to make it help people. So I got to work. I was shocked to learn that 65.3 million people are forcibly displaced worldwide, 21.3 million are refugees, and almost 34,000 people are forced to flee their homes due to conflict and persecution every single day. That's 24 refugees per minute. This is such a glaring issue affecting so many people that didn't even seem to have any solutions applied. And the more that I read articles, collected images, and talked to volunteers, the more I would see problems that seemed to have obvious solutions. I came across this picture alongside a news story where a journalist was on board a smuggler's boat. The boat's motor broke down, and the refugees were stranded in the ocean at the middle of the night, trying to get attention from nearby fishing boats. As I saw this picture, I thought to myself, if these people were wearing reflective clothing, it would be a lot easier for them to be seen. I also saw hundreds of photos of mothers traveling with very young children wrapped in their arms. If this mother was given a child harness, it would really facilitate her travel and make it a lot less tiring for her. The problems go on like this for a while. Here you can see the issue is lack of shelter. One person is lucky enough to have a tent, but if everyone else had a tent, they would definitely be much more comfortable. Or here, lack of sleep with comfortable sleeping bags. Creating clothing that is inflatable and deflatable is especially useful for overseas journeys like this, and adding reflectivity to those clothes only enhances your ability to be seen at night. Not every refugee can afford a life vest, yet these vests are creating mountains on the shores of Greece. If there was another purpose for these garments, they would not create such an issue of sustainability. But underlying all of these problems was the overall issue of weather and elements. As winter was arriving, these people were freezing and needed basic, durable, reliable clothing that can withstand extreme wear and usage. The result is a collection of unisex and one-size outerwear garments that respond to these issues. There are jackets that convert to tents, a sleeping bag, or a backpack, as well as jackets equipped for carrying children, flotation, and visibility. All of the clothes are weather and waterproof, prepared to be worn in numerous environments, and can easily adapt between sizes and body types. I have with me here one of the tent jackets. It's able to fit 2 people comfortably and keep you warm and dry throughout the night. Now I'm going to take it down for you. You may be wondering, why have it transform into a jacket? Well, that's a fair question. I don't know if any of you have ever gone hiking or camping, but I'm sure if you have noticed the extra weight that a tent can add to your load. Well, for someone who is traveling with their entire home on their back, this eases that issue of weight. Also, by having it convert into something else, it serves another purpose and isn't just in your pack weighing you down. As I researched existing tent jackets, I noticed how they were only able to accommodate one person. While in many circumstances, refugees are not traveling alone. They come with husbands, wives, children, anyone they can bring with them. With an adult wearing this jacket, it can provide shelter for them, as well as anyone who is traveling with them. There is also another tent in the collection that can fit up to 6 people. So in the event you're traveling with a very large family, everyone can be accommodated. So here, the base detaches and actually gets rolled up into a bag that carries the poles, which I will have my assistant do for me. Now let's get an opening for this jacket. And how about some sleeves as well? Okay. Et voila. There were some moments when I was doing this collection that I wished I was not working in the fashion industry because of its history and reputation. It's no secret that fashion has often been considered as detached from global concerns. But then I realized something important. Fashion is universal. Every single person here is wearing clothes, and brands are international. The amount of revenue the fashion industry generates greatly surpasses that of any nonprofit charity. If people don't want to pay attention to the news, I wanted to give them another avenue of awareness through the clothes they put on their backs. This project changes the narrative that fashion is superfluous and offers a new sense of hope, thank you, for the future of the industry. Quality design should not be a privilege for a select few, and design innovation should be given to those who need it most. It seems nonsensical to have this massive fashion industry revolve around such a small percentage of the population that can afford it, especially when we can create such amazing innovations when designing for the groups that have been marginalized. In no way does the project end at this collection. By all means, convertible jackets are not going to solve the refugee crisis or the violence that has caused it, but they can create a dialogue about the issue itself. The underlying purpose is to create awareness, which in turn can be its own solution. Maybe you'll walk away from this talk, remember it for 10 minutes, and never think about it again. Or maybe you'll talk to your friends, your family, colleagues, even your local politician about steps that are being taken to assist refugees. Maybe your voice tips the scale. Maybe the collection got you thinking about what you could offer. I remain steadfast in the belief that fashion or any other industry can become a movement for change. All it takes is a new approach to an old problem. It may not be able to solve the crisis itself, but it sure can make a difference. Thank you all so much for listening and allowing me to be a voice for this issue. Thank you so much.